This tutorial by the University Library will review how to lend materials from the University Library's collection to other libraries. Double-click Awaiting Lending Request Processing under the Lending menu. If the lender selection window opens, click on the globe to open the Policies directory and verify that the shipping address is correct using the information found under the Contacts tab. Verify the email addresses are still correct using generic emails when possible as opposed to emails for specific employees, and fill in the phone and fax number if no phone or fax number is shown in the lender selection window. You should see the option to add if this is a new lender or update if it is an existing lender near the upper left corner. To choose the lender and move forward with the transaction, click Select. Once the item record is open, search for the item in our catalog and record the call number. You can do this by either searching with the item's ISBN or title. In this example, I will search our catalog using the book's ISBN. It is important to note that items from the following locations cannot be loaned out to other libraries through interlibrary loan: reference collection, reserves, audiovisual, oversize, curriculum collection, special collections main, or special collections offsite. Since this item is from the curriculum collection, we will have to cancel the request. Back in the items record in ILLiad, click on Cancel Request in the upper left corner. Under Reason for Cancellation, you'll have a list of choices to pick from as to why you are canceling. In this example, I'm going to pick non-circulating, and I'm going to add a note that the item was part of our curriculum collection. Finally, click on Cancel Request. If the item is part of our main collection, like this next example, or part of our juvenile collection, then it can be loaned to another library. A preliminary check of the catalog reveals that this book is available. At this point, you may pull the book from the stacks. However, if there are several items needing to be loaned, you can search for them all in the catalog and on the shelves a bit later after printing the lending loan slips. Click Finished Searching. Click Refresh and the items will now be in the Awaiting Stack searching queue. Click on the Lending tab at the very top of the screen, and then click on the top half of the Print Stack Search Items button, and you will be prompted to print the lending loan slips. Click Print and the Lending Loan Slips Word document will open on your taskbar. As I mentioned earlier, if there were several items to loan, you could use these slips to search the library's catalog, record each item's call number on the spot indicated on the slip, and then use the slips to pull the books from the shelves. Ultimately, these slips will be sent with the loans to the borrowing library. Go to File, then select Print. If there were more than 2 loans, there would be multiple pages of these slips to print. Remember that the library's printers are set up to duplex automatically, meaning they will print on both the fronts and the backs of the paper, so you would need to turn off the two-sided printing option under the Printer Properties menu. If you are presented with a window asking you if you wish to print even though the margins are outside of the printable area of the page, select Yes. After printing, close the templates. You will be asked if you want to save the changes, and it is very important that you select Don't Save. Hit Refresh and the items will now be in the in-stack searching queue. If you haven't pulled the books from the stacks yet, do so now. Then double-click on the in-stack searching queue. Type in the transaction number in the upper left corner and hit Enter. When the item's information is displayed, confirm that the book title matches the book you pulled, and confirm that the due date shown on the screen matches the due date on the loan slip you printed. Click Mark Found. Repeat this process for each item if there were multiple items to loan. If you discovered that some of the books were not on the shelves, you could select Cancel Request and select Not on Shelf as the reason for cancellation. Close the Update Stack Search Lending tab after you have finished. Once back at the main menu in ILLiad, hit Refresh. The items will now be in the Awaiting Shipping Label printing queue. Before printing the shipping labels, you'll need to check out the book in WMS so that our patrons here on campus know the book is not available for circulation. Log into WMS and click on the Circulation tab. Under the Assist Patrons menu, enter barcode number 10 to bring up the ILL Test Patron account and hit the Go button. Click on Due Before Date and then select the due date according to the due date assigned in ILLiad. Remember, you can also find this due date on the slip you printed. After selecting the new due date, scan the book's barcode. If you get a message stating the due date is beyond the specified limit, click Acknowledge. If you see any other messages about the patron reaching their loan limit or having too many items in circulation, you can also acknowledge. You should see the book you just checked out at the top of the list of items, along with the due date you selected. You can now close the ILL Test Patron account in WMS. Back in ILLiad, click on the Lending tab at the top and click on the top half of the Print Shipping Labels button. As with the lending loan slips, you will be prompted to print them, so go ahead and click Print and the Word document will open on your taskbar. You will only need to print these shipping labels if the institution we are lending the book to is not a member of the Transamigos Express courier system. Go to the Transamigos Express Label Maker website, ask your supervisor or another ILL staff member for more details, and log in by selecting Texas A&M University San Antonio as the institution and entering the library's current password. Your supervisor or another ILL staff member will be able to provide you with the password if you have forgotten it. Upon logging in, you will see that our library has already been selected as the From library, and you can search for the borrowing library by either their OCLC symbol or name. This information can also be found on the lending loan slips you printed earlier. Since this library is part of the Transamigos Express courier, we won't actually have to print the slips generated in ILLiad. We will use these courier labels instead. Update the package shipping date. Remember, the courier comes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and if you only need one label, click View Labels. A PDF file will open up and you should print those labels. If loans are being shipped out to libraries that are not part of the Transamigos Express courier, print the shipping labels generated by ILLiad you opened earlier. The Word document will still be open on your taskbar, and put them with their corresponding books to be loaned out. When you close the Shipping Labels template, you'll be presented with the box that asks you if you want to save the changes to the templates. It is very important that you select Don't Save. Affix maroon book bands to each book and fold the slips you printed earlier to pull the books from the stacks and put them in the clear pocket of the book band. Book bands are in the middle information desk in a folder labeled ILL Bands. Next, desensitize the book. If the book is being shipped through the courier, put it in a purple Transamigos Express bag, making sure you can see the label through the window at the front of the bag and making sure the cloth part of the label window is taped down. Purple bags can also be found in the middle information desk. There are other consortia that participate in the courier that use different colored bags, for example red or black, so please ask your supervisor for more details about when you can use those. If no nylon bags are available, affix the label you just printed to a Jiffy padded envelope or box. Multiple books going back to the same institution can be placed in the same bag or box. Make sure the nylon bag or Jiffy padded envelope has a Transamigos Express barcode on it. It should only be placed in the upper left corner of the window. Extra barcodes can be found in the middle information desk in the folder labeled Transamigos Express Barcodes. Before fully packaging up the item, record the Transamigos Express barcode on the outgoing package as a note in the corresponding ILLiad item record. This will allow us to track a package in the future if a book gets lost in the mail. Bring up the item record by using the ILL number on the book's accompanying paperwork. Right-click in the Notes section at the bottom of the record and select Add Note. The type of note should default to Staff, meaning that the note can only be viewed internally. Scan the barcode on the corresponding purple bag into the note and click Add. Place the package on the outgoing Transamigos Express shelf behind Information Desk 2. Do this for each item that is being shipped to a Transamigos Express institution. Record the total number of outgoing packages and bags, not items and books, on the stats page on the clipboard in the number of packages shipped column along with the date and your initials. For those loans being shipped to libraries that are not part of the Transamigos Express courier, package them appropriately in either an envelope or box. Affix the shipping label you printed earlier from ILLiad and attach a white mail slip with the library's account number to the package. Place the package in the outgoing mail slot in the library's workroom and it will be taken down to the mailroom. This concludes the tutorial detailing how to lend out books from the university library to other libraries through ILLiad. The Public Services staff will be happy to assist you as you learn how to complete this process, and pretty soon you'll have it memorized.